Hey guys, it's Big G here, and today we're playing Halo Wars 2, and I want to share with y'all some tips and some helpful hints on how to play Halo Wars, because I know it's a very daunting game when you first start, and I just want to help everyone out, at least to know how to play the game effectively. I want to start off by saying learn the controls. You need to be able to move around the map fast, which means learn the hotkeys. On the consoles, it's the D-pad. You can move through the bases or through your armies, or you can even make certain groups with mixed armies. And it's very useful to move around, to move your troops around. Learn it fast. Next up is map resources and power nodes. You really need to pay attention to those power nodes. Those power nodes are going to give you and your team a super advantage mid and early game, whether it be 1v1, 2v2, or even 3v3. I mean, just think about it. It's an easy way to provide power for the entire team without having a extractor or reactor. Another upside for getting those power nodes is that you have more view of the map. So you can scout without having a unit even there. It's super useful. Take advantage of it. Trust me, guys, this game is about resources. And speaking of resources, be efficient with your resources. I've seen so many players with excess power or excess supplies, and they're not doing anything with it. You need to be able to spend it. If you can spend it, save it, and use it effectively, you're going to win the game most of the time. You need to be able to have units. In this game, more units usually means you're going to win a firefight. Now, of course, there are special units that counter, and I'll talk about that later in the game. Also, if you are going to save for something, think about what it is and if it's worth it. Do not save up your money early game, or even if you're mid game and you just don't have any units, don't do not be ineffective. It's it sounds like I'm repeating myself, but it's just such a big pet peeve of mine when I see a teammate, or even if I'm doing it myself, maybe I'm not paying attention to the game and I have 5k power. Why would I have 5k power? Upgrade stuff. Make some specialized units, some snipers or something. It's a headache sometimes. Just be effective. Spend your money as much as you can. Along with spending your money effectively, you need to use your units effectively, called micromanaging. Move certain parts of your army certain places. Move some units some other places. You need to be able to avoid the leader abilities or the special abilities that the units have. So many times I've seen the extermination ability from Atriox onto my units, destroying all of them. I'll be wiped out, and by then I'm getting counterattacked. I'm done. That's game over. Too bad. So sad. I need to move around my units, around a base if you're attacking it. Don't have them huddled up in the beginning in the front part. I mean, usually the other team has siege turrets or even some Kodiaks or blisterbacks. You're gonna get pooped on. Along with spreading out your units, it's also really good to surround units, enemy units, of course, or even enemy bases. Just like I said a second ago, you need to have them spread out. But whenever you surround a unit, it's hard for that unit to turn around and kill another one of your squads. Take a Scarab, for example. If you surround that with hunters, it's gonna die. There's no reason for it not to die. If you have enough hunters surrounding it, it can't turn around fast enough. And not just hunters, even hornets. But another thing to micromanage is you want to take the high ground. The high ground is so effective. I mean, if you have the high ground, you can usually see those units or those bases before they can see you. I mean, think about if you had Kodiaks or Blisterbacks on top of a ridge and they can't even see where it's coming from. Do you know how much of an advantage you have? They have to go all the way around the ridge just to fight you. Unless they have air units, of course. But in general, take the high ground, micromanage your units, spread around, surround the enemy. It's great. So now that you're being effective with your resources, being effective micromanaging, you're going to need to practice diversity. Now, Big G, why would you practice diversity? This isn't a college campus. I don't need to practice diversity. I'm going to make all Marines. No, dude. You're going to get pooped on. Marines are not that great. They're a very balanced unit. Given if you do rush with them early game, I mean, you could, win or something, but practice diversity. And what I mean by that is not make, one of each type of unit. You're also going to get pooped on that way. You want to make one base army. So let's say you are making an infantry based army. you want to back them up with something that's going to go against the enemy's anti-infantry because you know they're going to start making it. So you have to think about what is it that you would do if you were in their shoes. Well, me personally, if I saw an army of infantry, I'd start making wraiths as fast as possible. If it's early game, then I would probably make elite rangers or snipers. It just depends, and you want to counter that. Okay, so if you counter wraiths, you're gonna want to make hunters, or you're gonna want to make hornets. You know, you gotta think of what they're gonna do. In economics, it's called game theory. If you really want to get interested in it, look it up. I mean, I love economics, so I'm just nerding out a little bit, but you do you, and just think about what you would do in their shoes. It's like chess. So you have an army. You have an army that's backed up by diverse units. What do you do now? What you're going to want to do is focus by yourself or with your teammates on trying to destroy one or a few of their bases. Now, why is that? It's because, just like I said earlier in the video, this game is all about resources. If you can make the other team not have as many resources as you, you're probably going to win. So if you take out an entire base full of reactors, of supply pads, that's going to be a big hindrance on them. This means that once you start destroying more and more of their units, they're going to be able to produce less and less and less. So you're going to probably win in the long term. Now just think about it. If you're playing a 1v1 and you have one base and they have 5 or 4, well, they're probably going to win. I mean, they have more money and more opportunity to make units than you do. What I like to say to my friends that when I'm playing is that we need to starve the enemy team. Don't give them food. They need to starve to death. And what's the best way to do that? Take away the food supply. And destroying bases comes to my next point. Don't forget about your base defenses. Too many times I've had teammates, or even myself included, I'll be a little honest about that, I just forget. And it's really easy to do. I mean, if you're attacking or you're busy doing something else, defending someone else's base, it's super easy to forget to put turrets or a shield generator or something, but you need to do it. Now, if I go for an attack and my attack fails, the best thing the other person can do is go for the counter attack because I won't have any units. And if they do that to my base that has no defenses, well, I'm kind of screwed. So if you are UNSC, make siege turrets, because siege turrets are awesome for defense, even offense. I mean, those things have crazy range. And make turrets. I mean, if you can, make them specifically to the enemy units. Make them counter air or counter vehicles or something. Now, if you are the Banished, that's a whole different game. You need to be making shield generators is number 1. Make a shield generator as fast as possible. 2, cloaking generator. It's amazing. Sometimes people forget to make units that can find cloaked unit. But I really want to emphasize again, make defenses. It's so easy and so common to forget. And the last thing I want to say is game knowledge is everything. If you know all the leader abilities, all the units, all the counter units, all the special upgrades, then you'll know how to defeat it. I think the biggest advantage I usually have against someone else is knowing that, hey, this guy's Atriox, he's gonna use his extermination ability. I mean, it's usually obvious. So you gotta move around, you gotta spread out. If they're Forge, they're gonna use Forge's Hog. Don't go with a bunch of UNSC units and try to defeat Forge's Hog. I mean, unless you have grenades, of course, but you have to think about what they have, which includes their abilities. And with this game being ever-changing with pretty somewhat frequent DLCs and patch updates, you have to know what changes throughout the game. Whenever Jerome came out, everyone just Mantis rushed with Jerome. That thing was the scariest thing to see whenever you see 3 Mantises come into your base and you don't know what to do, because what are you going to make? Anti-infantry? Okay, it's early game. But you just need to know how to play against anyone. Well, guys, that's all I have for y'all today. I really hope this video helped y'all gain some knowledge about Halo Wars 2. I know it's very general. I'm going to go to specifics in future videos. Don't worry. If you like this video, like and subscribe. If you have Xbox One, hit me up. I'm BigG1100. Y'all have a great day. Now remember, be big.